Okay. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. And welcome to episode 4 of Sprout HR Expert Season 6. Ako po si Ethan Lod, and I will be your host for this webinar. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time off their busy schedules to join us today. Okay, can I hear everyone's excitement? And can I feel the energy on the chat box below? Can you guys comment? Good morning, how are you? Whatever you want. Okay, so we have an exciting webinar for everyone today. Some of you have been to Sprout webinars before. And today we will be talking about how small business owners and startup owners can strategically make a success venture no matter how small they may be. We will be learning more about these or how these individuals can avoid the most common risk and mistakes made by aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners. So if you like webinars like this, please don't forget to follow our social media pages. We have at Sprout HR Tech, at Sprout HR Tech, and be on the lookout for new episodes. We always have new episodes. We're also live on Facebook. At hindi lang Facebook, may pa YouTube na rin kami ngayon. So you can check us out there. Now, just to give a quick introduction on who we are, for those of you who don't know, Sprout Solutions is the leading HR and payroll solutions provider in the Philippines that aims to help businesses transform and automate their HR processes. So recruitment, payroll, timekeeping, performance management, employee engagement. Just like the new normal of virtual festivities and Filipino spirit, we celebrate innovations by helping your business adapt digitally. Lalo na ngayon na pandemya. So for those of you who have been attending our webinars for several months now, you know that we like to talk about change and we like to talk about how to adapt. So once again, hearty welcome to everyone tuning in to this exciting episode of Sprout HR Experts by Sprout Solutions. And I'm sure everyone's looking forward to learning about today's topic. We have some great speakers and panelists today. But before we get into that, let's start first with a short icebreaker. Okay, so to join our icebreaker, you just need to answer the poll on your screen. Okay, is everyone ready? Let me check the Zoom chat rather. All right, may mga good morning na. What type of Zoomer are you? The one walking around the house, whale ba yan, or while holding a device? The one without a camera, the one who forgets to unmute when speaking, or the one who's always multitasking? Which Zoomer are you? All right, do we have the results? Please vote. Is everyone voting? We have we have several participants now. And do we have the answer for the poll? I think we can display that here. Or maybe I'll just guess kung ano kaya yung number 1 dyan. Kung di natin ma-display. I think the number 1 is the one without a camera. I noticed na yung mga Pinoy hindi sila mahilig magbukas ng camera eh. So, minsan nagugulat na ako pagpasok ko sa meeting, nakabukas camera. Oh, shucks, kailangan pala magbukas na. Mag-aayos muna ako sa konti. And I think that's the number 1. So, that's a bit of an icebreaker for you guys. Sorry, I don't know why we're not able to show the polls. Maybe, okay. I got the answers, guys. Yung number 1 is multitasking, of course. That's true. Okay. Yeah, I guess everyone always multitasking. Kay Zoom, kay hindi. All right, cool. Thanks for joining our icebreaker. And after the icebreaker, as some veteran viewers know, parating may paraffle ang Sprout tuwing nagpapa-webinar. So we have a raffle. And for you to join this raffle, you just need to follow this mechanic. So can we show the mechanics on the screen? All right. So that's basically it. Collect all the 3 keywords. We're going to be flashing them on the screen. I'm going to be telling you what the keywords are. And you will get the chance to win a 200 peso Grab Gift Card. It will be sent to your email should you be chosen as the lucky winner. Okay? So I'll just read them real quick. Number 1, collect all 3 keywords that will be flashed on the screen throughout the webinar. Number 2, follow Sprout's official Twitter page at Sprout HR Tech. Number 3, comment all 3 keywords on the pinned tweet on our Twitter page. Number 4, we'll announce the lucky winner at the end of the session. And 5, we'll be sending the prizes via Twitter DM after the session. Exciting times. Make sure you remember those mechanics as I will be announcing the keywords. I'll start with the first one. Okay, the first raffle keyword is strategy. Strategy is the first raffle keyword, which is something we're going to be talking about in a bit. All right. And I wanted to remind everyone, after we have our guest speaker talk and share his knowledge and wisdom, we are going to have a fireside chat session. Ethan, ano yung fireside chat session? Well, that's your opportunity to ask our panelists, our speaker questions. And that's a very good opportunity. So please take note of your questions while listening to the webinar. We're going to be trying to answer all of them later. And our topic for today is top mistakes small business owners make. Okay, so for those of you who are small business owners, make some noise in the chat. Okay, so please start listing down your questions and we'll try to address them as much as we can later. So I'm pretty excited and I'd like to introduce now our speaker. So, little background. He is currently the Chief Marketing Officer of Taxumo, a pioneering and multi-awarded online tax filing and payment platform for self-employed professionals, small business owners, and freelancers. He was previously the Regional Communications Director of Freelancer.com, one of the leading online freelancing platforms in the world. During the course of his career, he has been featured in regional media such as Bloomberg Malaysia, Channel News Asia, GMA TV, Second Opinion, Rappler, and the Manila Times. That's a crazy resume. He has more than 10 years of experience as a communications professional, having won prestigious local and international awards for various multinational brands and companies. And we're very lucky to have him here with us this morning. Let's all give a warm round of applause to Mr. Evan Tan. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Ethan. Good morning.
So, Evan, somebody on the chat said, "Good morning, Mr. Sam Milby lookalike." Do you have any comments? Maybe that's the first thing we should talk about.
Thank you, I guess. I think it's a compliment.
All right, Evan, I'll give the floor to you.
So yeah, let me just share my screen. Okay. You see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Wait.
Ano wala?
Oh, okay. Wait. Sorry. Share it again. There you go.
Cool. Yeah, we see it.
All right. Okay, sige. So, yeah, so my name is Evan. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Taxumo and also the co-founder. So Taxumo is the country's, if for those of you who don't know Taxumo, so we're the country's pioneering tax assistance platform. We started in 2016. Before that, as Ethan said, I was part of Freelancer and I was actually going around different provinces like around the Philippines. Like Freelancer was a partner of the ICT. Then it was Department of Science and Technology, ICT. And then one of our partnerships was we went around different towns, just talking to people, individuals who wanted to make a career out of online freelancing. And one of the things that I realized while going around like different provinces and cities na a lot of people don't know how to become legitimate professionals. So they think of online freelancing as basically pagraraket lang, and they don't realize that eventually na they would need to pay taxes because obviously na if you pay taxes na you would be legitimate in the eyes of the government and also like institutions like banks. So you can get loans and also like housing loans, car loans, and also for your visa and all of that. So Ginger Arboleda, who is one of my co-founders, approached me and said, "Hey, we're setting up Taxumo. Like it's gonna be like a tax assistance platform for people. So we also help people register their businesses." And I thought that it was a good idea because basically I've been talking to a lot of people who didn't know. So this was really an opportunity for us to help small business owners, self-employed professionals and freelancers register their business, legitimize their profession, their career, and also file and pay their taxes easily because, it's really, really difficult to file and pay your taxes here in the Philippines. So it takes around, if I remember correctly, around like 160 hours are lost like every year just because you pay your taxes. Okay, so I'll go to my next slide. So currently we serve around 45,000 people on our platform. So we started in 2016 and we've been serving 45,000 people and growing. Especially during the pandemic, actually nag-shoot up because people can't go out and file and pay their taxes like, outside. So we've remitted like 37.8 million pesos in taxes since we started in 2016. And you can see here in this slide the breakdown of generation. So a lot of people who are part of our user base are actually millennials, so really young, age 23 to 38. So you also see a lot of Gen X and also Gen Z, surprisingly. So a lot of people na really young ones are starting to basically make a career out of online freelancing and also starting their own businesses. Like yun, yung iba dyan, like mga mixed income earners na they have like a full-time career like as an employee, but also like a side hustle na maybe selling some stuff on like online platforms or like online freelancing as well. Then, oops, sorry for that. So you can see like this is actually like one of the data that we realized na a lot of people during the pandemic nag-decrease ang income nila and a lot of people then also increased. So it's an interesting insight because you can see na yung average decrease of income for 67.1% of our population like on the platform nag-decrease by 49%. And then the average increase naman ng 32% of our users nag-shoot up at 144%. So you can see like it's really, I guess like for one of the interesting things that I gathered from this is that even during the pandemic there was an opportunity to grow. But of course like especially for those na starting out na who didn't really understand like how to manage like the ebbs and flows of like running your business. Now there's a very huge opportunity to fail when it comes to like running your business. And I just have a few things na like insight as well, like how if you're planning to start your business or if you also have a side hustle or yeah, like you're basically like doing I don't know online freelancing as well, like just some tips na I can offer you so you can avoid like the pitfalls of like running your business. So some of the top mistakes that business owners make, I listed down 5, which I will run to you here. So mistake number 1 is I didn't know being a one-person corporation could protect me from liabilities. So a lot of people don't know about one-person corporations. So most of the people, some entrepreneurs think na starting your business means creating your corporation or a one-person corporation. But that's not necessarily the case actually. We have like loan service providers, like wedding hosts, speakers, also actually doctors, for example, like they don't register as a corporation, so hindi naman siya necessary. But the main advantage of setting up your corporation or one-person corporation, so to speak, is it's seen as a separate person in the eyes of the law. So what does it mean? So it means, for example, if by any chance hindi niyo mabayaran yung utang, like bank loan, hindi kayo madedemanda and hindi masisequester, I guess, yung properties nyo because separate yung properties na owned by the company when you're set up as a one-person corporation as opposed to when you're a self-employed professional or you're registered as sole proprietor. But on the other hand, of course, like having a corporation means more work. So you need to like enroll bank, like many bank activities like require a secretary certificate or like parang yun nga, board resolution. So you need to agree on a lot of things. And then also since corporations are registered with the SEC, so kailangan nila ng audited financial statement every year regardless of how much they earn. But of course, like you weigh na, I guess, the pros and cons if you want nga na to separate your, I guess, assets from your companies. And this is when a one-person corporation could protect you from liabilities. So mistake number 2, so yeah, I didn't include taxes in my revenue model and now I'm trapped. So unregistered businesses, usually like makikita nyo, bakit ang mura magbenta ng ibang mga businesses? So usually it happens because they don't pay taxes and they don't factor in like parang yung actual taxes that they need to pay if they were actually legitimate. So once they include taxes in their computations, they realize na the business is not sustainable because obviously you can only be unregistered for so long. Kung balak mo talaga lumaki yung business mo, eventually masisilip ka ni BIR or like parang when you need to take up loans or like yun nga na some of those parang for leisure like they would want to travel. So kailangan niya talaga mag-register ng business eventually. And then they realize okay like the things that I've been selling or like the services I've been providing, I didn't include the taxes they actually need to pay as a registered entity. So they realize the business is not sustainable. And also, yun nga, like what I said, they also risk getting caught by the VAR and being shut down. So anyone serious about their business and planning out their revenue model should always include taxes because it's very, very important, obviously. And if you find out that your business is making money, even with all the costs adequately credited, then you have a sustainable business that you can go all in with. Okay, umulit siya. So mistake number 3. So I lost a big deal because I couldn't issue an official receipt or sales invoice. So we have a lot of I guess very uso na ngayon yung influencers, diba? Like a lot of people like are famous online or like parang planning to start out as content creators. And those people don't get to tap like large companies because they're not registered and they can't issue like official receipts or sales invoices. So larger customers, like if they're bigger companies, meaning the ones who make bigger orders from their suppliers usually require documentation. So kailangan ng customers na to ng certificates na showing na registered yung ka-deal nila because obviously na sila din masisilip ni BIR kung hindi sila nagbabayad ng tamang buwis. So larger companies, larger customers will want to make sure that their expenses are properly recorded. So that means that they need their suppliers to provide official receipts for sales invoices. We've talked to a lot of people actually na ganun na naging roadblock nila na eventually na they settle with smaller brands, for example, because ayaw silang kunin, hindi sila makuha ng mga larger companies. And then they realize na yun nga, I guess babalik din dun sa mistake number 2, marirealize nila na they've been charging less than what they should charge dahil hindi nila na-factor yung taxes sila. So it snowballs from there. So that's why like larger companies want a business owner who takes their business seriously because at the end of the day, they need to make sure that the business owner delivers their end of the deal. Because obviously, kung hindi ka registered, paano ka rin naman hahabulin ng larger customers, di ba? Like kung mawala na yan. And it's a very big risk. Usually, like pag malalaki yung budgets, di ba, na takot din sila na biglang magtumakas yung ka-deal nila na person. So mistake number 4. So I thought I could trust my service provider. So usually like when you outsource your task to a service provider, you need to understand what you are exactly outsourcing. So remember, like in business, pwede mo outsource yung work, but you cannot outsource the risk. So the same is true with taxes. At the end of the day, usually we've talked to a lot of like our current users na ganito naging problem nila before they signed up on Taxumo. Na they've been working with certain accountants, like bookkeepers, like people na they delegate tasks to, na they trust these people na these people would process their paperwork, like when filing and paying their taxes, and they realize na kung makalimutan, for example, ni service provider to pay and file their taxes, hindi naman si accountant nakakahabulin ni BIR eh. Usually, it's really the business owner. So at the end of the day, you have to be responsible for your business and not just entrust easily. So a piece of advice, try to get as much visibility as possible in your service provider's work, even beyond like parang taxes. Like syempre, like parang if you delegate kung may mga tao kayo, I mean, trust is very important in companies, but at the same time, like you also need to know like parang align kayo lahat sa nangyayari within the company. So mistake number 5 is I thought money was more important than time. So a lot of people don't realize that yung mas mahalaga actually ang time more than money. Of course, money is important. But for example, like a lot of online sellers na who miss out, like yung mga nasa Lazada, nasa Shopee, they miss out on big e-commerce sale dates. So until pag na-miss na nila yun, like they have to wait another year, like another month before they can jump in the buying frenzy. And usually that has a huge impact on their profit margins as well. So you should be spending your time on things that will really make your business grow. So you have to understand na you can't buy back time. Like money you can earn, but time you can't buy it back. So there. So if you're planning to start your business, like the usual, just sign up on Taxumo. We offer a lot of help to small businesses. If you have questions about like setting up your businesses, you can use this code as well. Like when you sign up, it's TXM Get Started, and you will get 10% off on our subscription plans. So with that, I end my presentation and I'll bring it back to you, Ethan.
Thank you, Evan. Very interesting. Very interesting insights. I actually was surprised by some of those mistakes myself. So I hope the audience was also listening intently and was able to get some wisdom from that. And we're going to be going back and circling back on that discussion later on during our fireside chat. So Evan, I'm sure our viewers have some questions for you later. Now, if you have questions, you can write them down now. We're going to be talking about them in a bit. But before that, we're going to reveal our second raffle keyword. So the first one was, I forgot, I'm just kidding. The first one was strategy. The second one is models, MODELS. So the first one is strategy, the second one is models. Okay, I hope everyone got that word. Okay, you need all three raffle keywords to be eligible. Now, here at Sprout, it's in our culture to keep practicing work-life integration. I can attest to that. So if you're down to learn more about us as a company, take a quick look at this video.
So you've got your processes, and your company is an oiled machine that runs pretty smoothly, but under the hood, you have problems. You've got managers desperate to know the status of their open positions, leave requests getting lost in a jumble of emails, SMS and forms, and employees complaining about payroll errors. You've thought about some expensive custom software that would be a pain to maintain, or swimming in all the features of SAP or Oracle, or maybe even outsourcing your payroll altogether. Why can't you find a local, intelligent, well-supported software that caters to your needs as a Philippine company? Well, guess what? Here at Sprout, we've developed a system that just works. One system with all the features you need and without all those that you don't. So what are you waiting for? Get over to sprout.ph and get your systems fixed today.
Okay, cool. I hope you guys picked up a thing or two about Sprout Solutions. For some of you here who have attended already 10 webinars, sawang-sawa na kayo sa video na yun. But I hope for those who have only seen for the first time, you guys enjoyed it. And if you need to know more, you'd like to know more, you can message us on the chat and we'll reach out to you. Okay, before we reveal our third and final raffle keyword, we're happy to share with you some of the latest legal alerts. You know, Sprout has a very strong legal team behind us, and we like sharing our knowledge. We like sharing these updates. And to do this, for us, would like to welcome Mr. Brian Paul Inocencio. Hi, BP.
Thank you, Ethan. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So I'll be presenting the latest legal updates for this week. So the first one is from DOLE. So private establishments can now apply for a safety seal. Now, issued, of course, by DOLE to assure visitors or even employees that the company or establishment is practicing the minimum health protocols, such as the use of the contact tracing applications and social distancing. And I think one benefit of it is that the workers or visitors have this feeling of being safe inside your workplace. And this is free of charge and valid only for 6 months from the date of issuance, and except for tourism establishments, which is valid for 1 year. This has to be renewed a month before expiration, of course. And you can visit the link here, or you can directly call their hotline as presented. So for VIR, as part of their efforts to digitize their environment, then they've implemented their new business registration portal. as an alternative option in submitting application for the registration of business. No? So taxpayer applicants shall prepare scanned copies of all required documentation to be attached and to be submitted via email to the concerned RDO. So you can visit the link provided here if you wish to apply for a new branch or even test it for your new business. No? And also from BIR, the RMC number 75/2021 is being issued to amend the RMC number 97/2020, which further sets the proper filling up of BIR form 0605 or the payment form for excise tax purposes. Okay, so that's all, everyone, for the legal alerts this week. Thank you.
Salamat, Brian. Okay, we'll be talking to Brian again in a bit. All right, thank you for those updates. If you want to know more about the latest legal updates, by the way, make sure to follow us at Sprout HR Tech on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter accounts at Sprout HR Tech. Okay, before we move on to our fireside chat, it's time to finally announce our third and final keyword. So please take note. Our third keyword for the raffle is networking. Networking. So the first one was, dapat alam nyo na yan. The second was models, and the third is networking. Okay, so inulit ko na yung pangalawa. All right. To join the raffle, again, simply follow our Twitter page, our Sprout Twitter page with the handle at Sprout HR Tech, and comment these three keywords on our latest pinned post. We're going to be checking that out so that we can get the, we can group together all those who are eligible for the raffle. Okay, we're going to be choosing one lucky winner to get that gift card. All right. So I hope you guys are ready for the fireside chat. Your questions, may mga nakita na akong mga katanungan dyan. We're going to get back to them right now. So I want to welcome back our speaker, Mr. Evan Tan. Hi, Evan. And we'll also like to welcome back one of our Sprout legal experts, our very own audit and compliance lead, Brian Paul Inocencio. Hi, BP. All right, cool. So the Avengers are complete, and we have some questions here. So first one, and I think both of you can weigh in on this. Good morning from Joanna Pellerin. My question is on liabilities. How does a business overcome liabilities if the case is that they have no way of settling their accountabilities? And what will happen to the employees? I think the general question is, how do you settle liabilities if you don't know how to do it, I guess. And yeah. So this kind of general, but Evan and BB, maybe you can weigh in on this. Who'd like to go first? Evan, did you want to start?
I actually have no, that's something that I don't know. I know the company will usually file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But, like the details of it, like I am not aware of. So maybe Brian can
No worries
on that one.
All right. So
how about you, Brian?
as for the liabilities, no, actually it depends on the structure of the company on how to overcome the liabilities. And I think for settling accountabilities for the employees, it depends on the employer and the employee contract. And I think it is hard to overcome liabilities. So I think
you can settle the accountabilities.
Yes.
Okay.
Pero, one way siguro is to have what you call this. I'm sorry, end of my tongue. Parang i-roll over or negotiate to negotiate with your debtor or your creditors. I think
okay, so besides filing for bankruptcy, try to get more capital to settle those accountabilities. Okay. All right. Thanks for weighing in, Brian. We have another one from Michael Briones. I think this is if one person corporation, OPC, is SEC registered, can that corporation already accept trade services with projects amounting to more than 10 M in Philippine pesos? So his follow-up question is, how will the regular bank deal with such an OPC given this situation? Evan, did you want to weigh in on this?
I'm a bit confused about the question actually. But yes, the one person corporations are SEC registered. With regards to like the other questions, I don't know how to answer those questions because I'm a bit confused about how what they meant about
Yeah.
like accepting trades and services amounting to more than 10 million. So,
How about you, Brian? Yeah. So I think the question here is they are wondering if they can accept services of for projects amounting to 10M or deals like let's say contracts of projects that are amounting to 10M. I didn't know that there were any restrictions, but maybe Brian, you have an idea.
Yes, I don't know if there's any restrictions as to the amount you'll be transacting with other corporations. Pero how will the regular bank deal with such OPC given this situation? I think it depends on the vendor accreditation with regards for the bank, no? Kung magpo-push through sa contract between you and the bank. So I think there's no restriction as to the amount.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. I think here the question is how will the regular bank deal with such? Are you referring, Michael, to a loan situation? Or Evan, Brian, did you understand it in a different way?
okay,
I
Bayad loans.
like parang
between a business owner and his client is a
I think
bank.
more of like parang pag-deposit, no? That's how I understood the question.
Oh, okay, for the transaction mismo.
Like parang how will the regular bank deal with I guess like transactions na over 10 million? So parang that's how I understood the question.
Yeah. I think you're right, Evan. Michael clarified. Thanks, Michael. So the DTI limits companies up to 10 million max, but the SEC registered companies have no limitations.
That
Okay.
one I'm not sure, but we could
According to Brian.
get back
Michael,
to-
rather.
But Brian, if you have would you know,
Yes, since one person corporation is registered under SEC and not DTI, so there you don't have any limit regarding this.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, everyone. For that question, since we're not sure, we're not gonna definitively answer that. But so apologies, Michael. But hopefully, if you have other questions, maybe we can be able to answer those. Okay. So I have another question here from our audience. Let me just pull it up. All right. What if the business is not able to pay separation or closure pay? What are the consequences? Brian?
Sorry, I don't have any knowledge about separation
Okay.
of authorities yet.
I think we're veering a bit towards the legal side. So we'll focus on some of the questions that are more on the business side. Okay. Let's see. I think we have some here. Give me a second. All right. What's one of, I think Evan can help with this because we're talking about small business owners. What's one of the most important things I should do or take note of when marketing my business? Evan, could you weigh in on that?
when marketing your business, like
I guess the first principles that they should think about.
definitely make a business plan, like understand your business well enough, like what are you exactly selling, also understand like who your market is, because obviously it's important not just to know what you're offering but who's ready to take it up. So you need to research on, like, do market research, do diligence on that one before you actively scale up your business, because otherwise what if yun nga wala naman talagang malaking market for it, then you would need to pivot your business. So have a really robust understanding of what your business is all about.
So what I got from that is, one, you have to have a business plan. Number two, know what you are providing in the market. Number three, know your customer, right?
Yes, that would fall under I guess like the umbrella of creating your business plan naman, Ethan. Like market research, also like para knowing your audience, researching about your product, like how what's your unique selling proposition. So a lot of those like would you would encounter that the moment that you create your business plan.
Cool. And I guess just to follow up on that, I mean, so these are good principles. in reality, sometimes you don't really understand your customer off the bat bago mo masimulan yung negosyo mo, right? So you have
Yeah.
to kind of iterate uh, with in terms of your strategies. And from that iteration, you get to understand your customers better. What are initial steps, maybe like concrete steps, you can advise for new business owners to be able to get to that level where, or that stage where they really understand their customers?
Well, first you have to talk to like parang your target market before you launch your business, diba? You do your research. Pero obviously, like the moment you research, iba pa rin naman yung who you envision to be your market might not necessarily be the ones who will really take up your product. So you have to constantly, the conversation never ends, like at the initial phase. So like as you iterate, like parang as you realize na like customers are coming in, you get to talk to them more, understand like ano ba talaga yung pain points nila, like why are they purchasing your product, how you can position, like how can you align with their values and like position your product in such a way to address like what their problem really is. And then like obviously kung may disconnect between like initial research and like parang who your customers end up as you go along, then you iterate, you pivot, you refine your product, you refine your services, you refine your messaging as well.
Okay, cool. So if I understood correctly, to summarize for everyone listening, you typically don't know your customer off the bat, and your perception of your customer will definitely change, right? So you have to constantly be talking to them and be open to pivoting.
Yes. Basically, like keep your communication lines open. Like it doesn't
All
stop.
right.
Always a conversation when you are running a business.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Evan. I have another one here. This is interesting. How will I define success after the first year? How will I define success after the first year? So there are many ways of going about this. Evan, how would you define success?
It depends. I guess like a lot of companies would probably. It depends on like you really would be the one to set what your definition of success is. Because some people would define it as um, having X number of customers, for example, or X number of users for their platform. Some businesses would define it as like I have to be cash positive by the time like at the first year. So it really depends on like what your goals are. So yun, that's something that you would need to define for yourself, like when you run your business. Because obviously na yun, for example, na I guess going to the into the mindset of a small business owner na some of those na can't afford to like parang run a business for a year na hindi sila nagkumikita. So maybe like parang ang immediate nila na definition of success is kailangan kumita ako or at least break even like at the first year. Pero some naman like parang okay, like hindi important sa akin na kumita. Like important sa akin na makilala immediately. So like it's really the business owner who would define their what success is for them and like how they would measure it at the end of the year.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I think it really depends also on your personal situation and also your industry, right? So like you said, sometimes mas importante makilala muna at even at the expense of not being profitable. In terms of Taxumo, what was, if you don't mind, what was the strategy first year out? What was the key success indicator for you guys?
We had a lot. Obviously, like meron kaming OKRs. Profitability is one of those, but like it's not just one metric of success. We had like also like number of users, repeat customers as well, like those who resubscribe, and also like parang this is how much we need to earn. So meron kaming different metrics of success. But I guess like for a small business owner, it doesn't have to be. Maybe you can have like different measures of success as well for you. Doesn't have to be just one, obviously, but you could always like parang say na this one takes priority over the other metric of success.
Yeah, so you have a list. I think in most cases you'll have a list anyway, not just one.
Yeah.
But then you also have priorities, right?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Evan. here's something that I think Evan and Brian can chime in on. What legal aspects do I need to consider when starting a business? What
I think
legal aspects? Maybe Evan,
the immediate thing would
you
be
want to start?
the immediate thing would be to register your business. I think it's one of the main legal requirement that you would need to establish, diba? Na if you're not registered, then you're not a legal entity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is something you emphasize presentation more. Okay, that's one. Any others that you'd like to emphasize?
Would be like complying with the tax rules, like filing and paying your taxes. I think that's one. Making sure na you're not offering services that are illegal. I guess that would be one as well.
I think that's a given. I think that's a given. Maybe.
But just in case, hindi yun obvious. But you know,
just in case for our listeners.
I mean, a lot of but maybe it's not that obvious because we see a lot of like online sellers who actually sell, for example, fake products. And they think that they could get away with it, but like you know, na if you really want to grow as a business owner, na this is a problem na you would need to encounter. Parang I remember that there was an online gadget store, for example, na they weren't paying proper customs taxes or something, like parang customs fees, and like parang na-raid sila. So like yeah, na you have to make sure na you really comply, because like it's at eventually, if you're really serious about running your business, like you will get found out.
Yeah, it's not a joke. Yeah. How about from Brian?
For me, it's definitely paying the taxes. So after you registered with DTI or SEC, yung BIR kasi is meron na kagad record dyan sa kanila eh. So you need to register to the BIR and pay the file and pay the taxes accordingly, timely. And also I think you need to hire a professional in filing your taxes, no? So the one that is capable. No?
So to your point, Brian, and thanks for chiming in on that. To your point, Brian, maybe Evan can also give a better understanding to our audiences of how Taxumo works, right? So we obviously want to file our taxes. Well, not everyone, but let's say we all want to. So how does Taxumo help us do that?
So essentially, when you sign up on Taxumo, you fill up like the initial registration. Na you include your tax identification number, and then it's automated in the sense na once you do everything at the initial phase, now we will remind you like when the next tax due is. Like what Brian was saying, na yun nga, na you have to be really aware about like when your dues are and how much you need to pay. Obviously, we also help you with that. Like if you're a small business owner, you just need to enter your income and expense, and then Taxumo auto computes even before your tax dues. A lot of our customers, yung experience sila when we talk to them, they would get shocked because if they hire, for example, an accountant, usually naman si accountant makikipag-usap lang sa kanila when the deadline is. And nasasabihin lang ni accountant, for example, na, okay, this is how much you need to pay. But as a business owner, like some of them, they don't have that money because syempre pinapaikot nila yung pera, di ba?
Yes.
Hindi ma-realize sila na, okay, like I don't have that much to pay my taxes. So Taxumo like parang shows you how much you need to pay the moment you enter your income and expense in real time. So habang mas marami kang income na nilalagay, nagko-compute lang siya na nagko-compute until the actual deadline. So that's how we really help like the small business owners who register on their platform na they know, hindi sila we call that phenomenon yung tax bill shock. We prevent tax bill shock essentially. And then we make the process easier. They don't need to go to the banks anymore. Like they can pay and file their taxes. They don't need to even fill up the forms like come due dates kasi we autofill that. Na you just basically click a few buttons and it's done.
Cool. So okay, there's several formulas here, and I assume that Taxumo keeps everyone compliant, right? So as government updates, you get those updates.
Hmm.
Can you outline for our listeners what makes Taxumo so much more effective than your own personal Excel sheet, let's say?
Well, you have your records on the cloud, obviously. Na you can access it on your phone, on your desktop, wherever you are. Um, it also it's auto file, auto compute. You don't need to memorize long formulas. Obviously, kung Excel, like you also need to know your formulas. It fills up the forms. Now you don't need to do that regularly. Like parang come tax deadline na parang you need to fill up the forms again. So yun, automatic na yun with Taxumo. At the same time na you don't need to remember even the deadlines because we help you we remind you every time na parang okay, like the tax dues are coming up, like this is how much you need to pay. Like it's essentially like parang we save you a lot of like the stress when it comes
Yeah, yeah,
to paying the taxes. And if you need, for example, na okay, I don't mismo ako like parang halimbawa kung small business owner ako na but I don't have the time to enter my income and expense. Like we made the process easier pero wala ka pa rin time, for example. You also have the option to delegate it to someone else. Like your Taxuma account like can be delegated to, for example, your accountant. So this is where like yung what I was saying a while ago, one of the mistakes na like really understanding what your service provider does. Because may transparency like it's not just the accountant who has your records na like it's on Taxumo. You see na parang your accountant has filed your taxes properly and it's been remitted to the BIR. Taxumo confirms it with you na parang once it's remitted, like we send you an email saying na this has been remitted to BIR, so you don't need to worry about it. So yeah, that's basically what Taxumo does for small.
well, yeah. I think that's very useful, especially for small business owners who. And you made the point a while ago. Time is very important. It's probably more important than anything else. And you can't be growing your business if you're focused on these nitty gritties, right? And if Taxumo helps automate a lot of these, plus increases the accountability between you and let's say your service provider, then it's a great deal, right?
Yeah, time is really important. Like a lot of people don't realize that na they think na the time that you have, like what I was saying earlier nga na you can't buy back time. Like parang you can earn money, but time like once it goes away, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Ako personally, I also started a company, and I think this service is sounds great. For those of you who haven't checked it out, check out the website also of Taxumo so to understand more. So at least now, thank you, Evan. We have a general idea of how it works. And I have another follow-up question. You were mainly talking about the product, the software. Is there also some? Are there also some services involved?
Sorry, what do you mean, Ethan?
For example, if I need a consultation, something basic like that, can I reach out to Taxumo? Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you for asking that. Actually, a lot of people like very helpful naman ng CSR team namin. So once you reach out to us, like you just visit the website, you message us on Facebook, like we will answer your questions immediately. But some people would prefer to talk to an accountant, for example. We also offer a service called Taxumo Consult. So kung may mga questions na like our CSR team can answer for you because sobrang detailed niya, like when it comes to like parang about your business na outside of like Taxumo scope, na like for example like tax avoidance, which is legal, hindi siya illegal. But yeah, like when you want to minimize how much you need to pay, and you would need to talk to an accountant, so we can help you talk to our trusted accountants, set that up on the platform. So that's one of the services. We also connect you with accountants if you need to register your business. So if you haven't registered your business yet, we can also connect you with some people who can help you with that too.
Great. So Evan, you're also positioning yourselves as not only an excellent tech product, but also a domain expert, right? So for people who just want to get the taxes clean out of the way, maybe it's good to just go to Taxumo, right? In general, you have a service provider or not, right?
Right. So yes, we pride ourselves as being an end-to-end platform. So from the moment you set up your business, you register, like even before you plan to really set up, but you have a few questions before setting up, we can help you with that. up to the filing and paying your taxes.
Cool. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it. I want to ask a question here from Joanna Pellerin. This is one for just to you, Evan. Do you have experience holding an SEC for a certain company? I think that was she was just curious. You
Personally, I'm registered as a self-employed professional. I'm not
okay?
registered.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
All
not
right.
but Taxumo is obviously
Yeah.
yeah. I guess the
All right.
experience.
So it's proud. So yeah. Any other questions, by the way? I'm looking back here. Any questions for Brian? Any questions for Evan? Oh, this is an interesting one. I think this is very subjective. It depends on a lot of factors. But I'll go ahead and ask Evan this. Would a partner slash partners make it easier to be successful in growing the business? Very general question, but maybe we just get a bit of Evan's philosophy when it comes to partnering up.
Partners meaning business partners or
Business
romantic?
partners, yeah.
Okay.
Not romantic partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because both are very important din. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like with anything naman, like when it comes to relationships and running your business, like, it's very important na you need to be able to trust the people that you work with. Like even in like parang big companies, diba, na you want employees you can trust. Like you want to partner up obviously when you start up your business na with someone that you can actually you believe is aligned with your values same time, diba? So yeah, like it really defines. Kasi otherwise, kung hindi kayo aligned, like where you want to go as a business, magpa-fracture yung business at some point. Like, diba, iba pala yung metric of success ni isa na
Yeah.
partner, diba?
Yeah.
Iba yung metric of success mo. So magka-clash kayo. And then like parang yun nga, if you have employees, for example, para magkakaroon ng factions within the company, kung hindi kayo aligned, like values niyo.
Yeah.
So it's very important, like organizationally, with whichever organization you're part of, like who you work with is one of the key things that would define your success or help you succeed.
100%. I agree. I agree. Oh, Brian, did you want to add anything on that note? No, you don't want. To add, I guess, before we wrap up, yeah, I think it's super important. Like, I agree with everything Evan said. I think if top of mind, if you had to optimize for certain characteristics in a partner, I think the top two would be integrity and competence, right? Because if you have those as your foundation, at least with your partnership, then I think even if you guys fracture in terms of maybe company vision, in terms of management style, whatnot, if you have integrity and if you have competence, I don't think you will end up with very poor outcomes. I think because they'll tend to, yeah, they'll usually regress to the foundation, which is you have a partner with a lot of integrity and they're good, they're reliable. If you have those things, you'll have a lot of ups and downs still. Happens to any company, but generally, I think you'll succeed in the long run.
Definitely agree. Because, you know, like, it's not enough to be competent lang. Kasi yun nga, like what you said, I agree with the integrity and competence. Because like, it's not enough na competent ka nga, like, hindi ka naman trustworthy. Like, you don't have integrity. Yeah. Like, you're not a man of your word or like a woman of your word, a person of your word.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to work, to deal with that. So, diba? So it's those two things are really, really important.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So that's our last question. Thank you for joining us for this webinar, everyone. Thank you for those who asked questions, Joanna, Michael, and yes, it's Joanna and Michael who asked most of the questions. All right, so we're gonna quickly announce the winner of our raffle now. But before we do that, just a couple of things we're gonna cover. So just give me a second. Whenever I say give me a second, I'll be very transparent. I'm just trying to reconfigure my script kasi parang naligaw na ako sa script ko. That's what's happening. But first, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Evan. And also thank you, Mr. Evan Tan, full name, and Mr. Brian Paul Inocencio. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Evan, for the enlightening talk and also for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge during our fireside chat. And thank you, BP, for the legal alerts and also sharing your knowledge on our discussion. Okay, I hope you can give them a nice virtual round of applause. If, well, maybe for in the case of Evan, how can people reach out to you? Is there a way to do that? They want to connect?
Yes, send me an email at evan@taxumo.com. If you want to connect with someone on Taxumo, just visit our website, www.taxumo.com, or just message us at Facebook or Instagram. Like our CSR team would be ready to assist you for your business concerns.
Very cool. Thanks, Evan. And because this is a webinar, for any e-certificate request, you may follow the instructions that you see on your screens. Can we show that on the screen? Okay. And you can send your request through this link. All right. Fantastic. And for the moment that some of us have been waiting for, I'd like to announce a lucky raffle winner. The name of our winner is, congratulations, Mr. Michael Lance Domagas. Congratulations, Michael. All right. We will be reaching out to you. Oh, thank you, si Michael. No problem. You're very welcome. And remember to follow us on our social media pages and use the hashtag SproutHRExperts to be updated on our next events. We have great speakers like Evan always joining us for these discussions. See you on our next webinar, and happy Thursday. Everyone stay safe. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.